Print on demand is the best way to expand internationally with zero effort, zero investment, zero hassle. But a lot of people really struggle to do that and to figure out how exactly they should focus on it. So we're doing a video series to cover the different markets that you could expand to as a seller. First, we're going to talk about selling in Canada. And for that, I have a wonderful guest today. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey, pleasure to be here today. My name is Nora, and I'm part of Printful's marketing team.
The first thing I think people really are confused about is information about shipping and about fulfillment in general, especially when it comes to the different places across the world. What are the things that people should definitely know? Maybe that would put them either at ease or just give them the information they need.
So I guess with print on demand and with Printful, we can ship to anywhere in the world, really. So if you have a product that you're fulfilling from us and you get an order in Canada, we'll ship it to Canada. But I think the cool thing to keep in mind is that we have a fulfillment center in Canada. So you definitely want to look at products that we fulfill there, just because the experience is better for customers in Canada that way, because it's fulfilled locally. It is shipped, domestically. So that means the shipping times are going to be faster than shipping internationally. And there won't be any extra duties or kind of import taxes that'll apply to orders. So I think, at the base, take a look at our products that we fulfill in Canada and add those to your store for faster shipping.
And if you're wondering specifically where to look for that information, make sure to check the availability tab at the bottom of each individual product page. That will tell you exactly which items and also which variants of each items are fulfilled in different markets. The next big thing that people are worried about is usually taxes, because nobody wants to get in trouble and do anything wrong. I would love to hear your advice, but just like for the audience as well, neither one of us is a tax professional. This is not legal advice. This is not us telling you exactly what you should do in your specific situation, but advice is still useful.
Yeah, so not a tax professional, but I think the thing to know is that if your products are fulfilled and shipped within Canada, you might incur some extra taxes or have to pay some extra taxes. Depending on the province, that might include GST, which is goods and service tax. It might be HST, which is your harmonized sales tax, or even PST, which is a provincial sales tax. So I think bottom line here is talk to a tax professional and they'll advise you on what exactly you need to know. But, be aware that you might have taxes that you have to pay depending on where your order is being shipped to and fulfilled.
Okay, so we've set all of the technical stuff, but sometimes it can also be hard to figure out how to maybe price certain items and how to stand out among the competition that might be there locally already. How can people go about that? Where do they start? Where do they look?
So I think when it comes to pricing, the thing that you should start with is to just research your market. So you don't necessarily want to set the exact same price for the US or, Canada. Look at what, competitors, comparable brands, competitor brands in Canada are charging. And then, think specifically about your niche. So if your niche is like surfing, for example, you don't want to just look at apparel brands, in general, like all t-shirts that are being sold in Canada, but look at your specific niche and what other competitors are doing in your niche and use that as a jumping off point to understand, okay, how should I be pricing my products? And look at your e-commerce platform's capabilities as well. Some of them might enable you to set up prices in Canadian dollars. If you're selling to Canadians, so that's a good thing to do is to sell in the local currency. So look at your platform and look at what their capabilities are. And then from a kind of back-end perspective on Printful, it's okay if your currency that you're charging on your storefront and in your Printful account don't match up. So that's okay. If you have different currencies set up on both platforms, you don't have to set your Printful account then to Canadian currency just because you're selling to Canada.
All right. And lastly, so you have the store legal setup, the technical setup, you figured everything out, you've priced everything. And then how do you sell? How do you get to the people?
So with marketing, I think it's the same kind of advice is to do some research. Every market, every audience is different. So look at what's going on in Canada and how to appeal to that audience. So what's happening culturally? What are the current events? What are the local holidays or events you should be targeting? So Boxing Day is an example. That's pretty big for us in December. And you want to look at local groups or communities. If you're targeting a specific niche, then you can take a look at, okay, that niche within Canada. So if your niche is skiing, for example, you can look at local Canadian skiing subreddits and kind of target that and talk to that community. So I think just look at what is available locally. If there's a way to kind of, target those local communities. From your store, you can also take a look at whether you can optimize or edit your product descriptions to kind of better speak to that audience. There might be some language laws to follow or to look at, localizing product descriptions to French, for example. So I think just doing some research, being aware of the audience and understanding, okay, is there a way to connect with that audience using, local groups, local communities?
That advice totally makes sense. In any situation when you're selling, you need to understand who you're selling to.
Yeah,
right? And the more you know about them, the better you're going to be able to cater whatever you're offering specifically to them.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So I think we've covered quite a bit here. Obviously, it's not a comprehensive list by any means, especially because your situation is going to be potentially different from someone else depending on what your already existing market is or what your home country is. But if you want to dive deeper into this, and if you want to get started with selling in Canada, this is going to be a great starting guide for you. Now, tune in for next time because we're going to cover other markets in other videos. And in the meantime, happy selling.